You ready for the dog park? Get in. I mean, school. Get in. Get in. Ready for school. Come on. Get in. Get in. Go. Good boy. Ready for school. Getting ready for school. Over there. Get ready for school. You ready? Better be. Ready for dog school. You ready? Petco. You ready for Petco? First day? You better do good. You ready?
Oh, yeah. Gotta go.
When I got this, the guy said he needed one more shot. I got him at 5 months, but he was saying it was like just like a booster shot for black and tan breeds. But then he said, someone said that you don't really need that.
That's not something that we, at least for this, it's pretty much just the rabies. So it might be something you want to look into, just for like generally in the future, but I don't know.
Because I know every year they're supposed to get a rabies shot, right? Or if you
I know he got, when he gets one, I gotta get him. I would just go to the doctor for vax. This is like my first dog, so
Okay.
I'm not too familiar with it.
Once you finish exploring.
What's that?
But yeah, if she's getting a little tear, Tahir, right? Yeah.
Alright, yeah.
So if he's getting like a little teething, another thing that I can do for training is actually use toys, which I'll do sometimes. So it really just kind of depends on the dog. So the whole idea of the positive reinforcement training is just sort of getting them used to the idea that when they perform an action, they might get a reward for it, and kind of getting them to choose the correct action. So instead of trying to like we're not gonna like shove their butts down to make them sit or anything like that. It's all just gonna be like letting them ears up, so I can kind of have a little thing around the room, hopefully, because when another dog walks by, this happens occasionally. I'm just kind of trying to get them used to the fact that I have treats real quick, and then I can start getting into
And those first days, he's just introduction, orientation right now.
Yeah, so like I said, a whole lot of the idea is kind of getting them used to the idea that we're going to be giving them treats or doing the right idea. So actually, if you guys want to grab a few treats, if you want to show me just kind of what really or anything like that is kind of using their body to, blocking up that sort of thing, so it's actually a lot of the time pretty effective to do a similar. So for example, if we're trying to teach the dog how to wait, literally just like kind of putting your foot in front of it, you guys want it to use, feel free to let me know and we can change it. But it's just going to be a word that will say whenever the dog does the correct thing. So you can almost think of it like a camera. So like whenever you see the dog doing the behavior you want, like instantly might be saying like, look and see like what do you want kind of thing.
So yeah, is supposed to distract them? Like,
yeah, I mean even just that is fine, and I'll just kind of walk by. Hey Zeus! Yes. I'll give him the treat for that. Yeah, so that was good. Kind of how his head immediately perked up. Because that's something we'll be looking for a lot, is that kind of their head turning, especially when we start to move into walking and that sort of thing. Because like I said, the idea is to, a lot of the time, sort of let the dog make the correct behavior. We want them to be looking at us to because we're the ones who are going to let them know if they've done the right thing by giving them treats. So, yeah, so getting their head to kind of perk up every once in a while and thinking, even if I just look at this guy, I might get food. Like that's sort of where we want them to get at. It is the idea where just being around us is probably going to be a good thing.
Hey Zeus, good boy. Good boy.
Hey Zeus. That's another thing right there. So even though it took him, it wasn't much of a delay, but it was maybe half a second right there before his head perked up. Something that we'll get into it more, especially when we get into like stays and that kind of thing. A lot of the time, people will kind of repeat commands a lot if the dog isn't doing something. Like if you're trying to get him to sit or stay, people will start being like stay, stay, stay. The dogs like even if they know what the command is, a lot of the time if they're not listening to you like that, it's more of them saying like, give me a second. It's not that they don't know what they want you to, or you want them to do. It's more that they're just like, I don't think it's worth it for me to do that. I'd rather be doing this other thing.
Right now.
Yeah. So kind of getting them into the idea like that, that even if I see if you can get out Sit. Yes. Yeah, so that one he seems pretty comfortable with. Alright. So I'll try going into the downs then right away. And this is something that hopefully will help a little bit with the teething that you guys were talking about. And it is going to be kind of weaning him off the treats. I wouldn't normally go into this right away just because he knows the sit command pretty well. As I'll try giving him a couple downs and see if I can get him to do like one and then the other with just only one treat. Just to kind of get him a little bit less into the habit of, one command, one treat, one command, one treat kind of thing.
So every time I do it, I gotta get paid.
Yeah. So getting him a bit more into that idea of like, I did it, do I have to wait to get the treat? Like, do I have to do something else or like, sit? Like, yes. Good boy. Yeah, so you were able to do that pretty well.
Yeah, that's the first time. Wow.
Just one thing to be careful with is if you are practicing anything like this, you do want to kind of switch the order up a little bit. Just that was a little tricky. That's something I've noticed with a lot of dogs. Is a lot of people do the sit first and then the lay. So sometimes if you go
into the motion.
Yeah, if you go right into the lay, a lot of dogs will be like, wait, I'm not sitting yet. Am I supposed to?
Right.
Lay. See if you can get it. Not quite. All right. Sit. Got distracted. Sit. Yes. That's something else I'll do. So like I said, I was going to try to get him to go into the down right away. But if the dog is, especially since we're in like one small room for an hour with them, if there ever is a point where they're not getting something like immediately, I'll normally jump back to something they know just so that they do get a treat and they're not getting too frustrated. Like I've been sitting here for 15 minutes and haven't got anything yet. Like why am I here? All right, you ready, bud? Bye. You're getting close. Sit. Oh, you heard something. Sit. Wait. Sit. Wait. Like I said, sometimes I'll kind of go, so like right there, he was sort of sniffing the treats in my hand and didn't really, like he wasn't going for them, even like I wasn't really offering like a behavior or anything like that. I was just trying to see if he would, just kind of keep interest in them. Can I have that? Thank you. Sit. Lay. Oh, close. Sit. Yes, good boy. So yeah, just kind of transitioning to a toy, just to kind of keep it up, like changed up on him, keep his interest. And like I said, with a lot of the first couple classes, or at least with like the first one, and then it's sort of to help establish that connection that it's all going to be like a good kind of like good environment. Get him happy, like used to the training. Where do you put it? Sit. And you said for your you said sit. Lay down. Good boy. Yes. There it is. So yeah, now I'm gonna see if I can get him to go just right into that down from the stand. Give me the ball back. Excuse me. Lay down. Lay down. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard, I think, with the tennis ball, but that's see if you can go back to the just with the tennis ball because he's gonna want to lunge at it right away. Yeah. This is kind of harder to get him to like stay in a position with that. Sit. Yes. You want these still? Zeus, lay down. Yeah, it's trying to see if I can get him to, because without knowing a stay command, it's a bit interesting to lay down. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get him to like how you were kind of sort of pulling it down towards his nose, or like away from his nose, because he keeps following me because I have food. It's still in his hand. Lay down. Hi. All right, Zeus. Sit. Oh, getting all distracted. Zeus. Yeah, so this is what I was saying. I'm gonna sniff this and be like, oh, it's the piece of paper, a treat's coming out of the other hand kind of thing.
Okay.
And once he starts to get a bit into the habit of that is when I'll actually name the command. So because he already knows like sit and lay down, that kind of thing, I didn't have to do it there. But with a lot of the commands, I'll actually sort of try to get the dog to do it a couple times before I introduce the word.
Okay.
Just so that I'm not reinforcing the wrong behavior with that word. Like making sure when so if I was doing sit, for example, making sure that the dog is actually doing a proper sit before I even say the word sit, just so that they never associate it with anything other than like the correct version of sitting.
Okay.
So I'll try to do here is, yeah, just have some treats in one hand and kind of get him to sniff it. Hey Zeus, what's this? What's this? And then as soon as, oh, you kind of went back to the toy, so I may have to pick that up just for now. What's this? It's not the ball. Yes. Just kind of as soon as he like, oh, dropped him. As soon as he starts to kind of look away and be like, I don't really want that at all. Giving him the command there, or the yes. Hey, what's this? Yes. Now I want the treats? Yeah, so I may need to go back to the ball. Oh, what's this one? Yes. What's this? Yes. Alright, so now he's kind of doing it. He's pretty much ignoring this right away. So I'll actually start to give him that command a little bit. Leave it. Yes. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Yes. So I was waiting for there is for his hand or for his mouth to kind of get off. Do you prefer to play tug? If you prefer to play tug, we can leave the tennis ball. Yeah, you might. All right. Can I have this back? Can I have the toy? The tennis ball is kind of hard to leave though, so let me see. Leave it. Leave it. Although you just found out it has a squeaker.
Right. Never leave it.
Yes. Even though I got distracted and I think he looked away for something else, it's still just sort of letting him figure out that in their head he's like, I looked away and then I got it. So even if the reason that he's looking away isn't always
Right.
Leave it. That one I'm not going to do because that was definitely another dog. Leave it. Yes. Saying anything else because the last thing I said was to leave it, so the dog should still know that was what I wanted him to do. So as long as they perform the action within 10 or 15 seconds of that command, he's still going to associate those words with that command.
Okay.
Leave it.
Excuse me.
Yes. You keep missing me through the tennis ball. So yeah, here, if one of you guys want to get...
Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it, Zeus. Leave it. Yes.
Alright, so what I'm actually going to try to do, it might be a little bit easier for him just because he is, with the toy it is a bit difficult, but I'm going to try to have it on the ground, and then similar, kind of what I was saying earlier, where sometimes you can use your, like using your body is going to be better to, like a better way to kind of help teach them. Leave it. Yes, good. Oh, you missed it. You missed me toss it.
Get it, Zeus.
You just wanted this one. Let's see if we actually can. So it's going to be different from like a drop it or something like that.
Okay.
But if there is an item in the house, like let's say like socks or something that he always goes after, you could actually do something similar with the socks, where you could kind of throw them in a corner and then give him that leave it. Oh, kind of okay. Leave it. Yes, good boy. Yeah, so right there you saw he kind of looked over at you. He was almost like, why is this guy not letting me get my toy? Yeah, so right, and that's something that, like I said, we'll kind of be looking for that like eye contact in a lot of different things, because it really is the dog asking you kind of permission, like, can I do this? Like, can I have that thing? So it'll be the same thing with like walking. Like if we get out walking kind of to help them stop pulling on a leash, what we'll do a lot of the time is sort of let them pull and just not go anywhere. And eventually they'll sort of look back like, why am I not moving? And as soon as they look back, you'll be like, yes, all right, let's start going again. So it's almost like just letting them kind of get
back, do it. Cause I found myself, I stop, and then he'll keep tugging, and it's like, oh man, come on. Like,
leave it. Leave it.
Oh, second.
Yeah, you got distracted on that one.
Leave it. Good. Yes.
Yeah, see, that was perfect there. He really kind of stuck his head up to look at you. Sit. Yes. Yes. Good boy. You don't want it? You don't want it? Go back to the treats. Yeah, this is what I was saying with, so what we can do next week is actually, like maybe halfway into the class, I'll let them take like a 5-minute break, just like go out to the bathroom, that kind of thing. It's kind of dog to dog. Sometimes they're able to just sort of, go through like an hour, and then even at the end of the hour, they're like, what do you want me to do? And then sometimes a lot of dogs get like this kind of where, as the time goes on, they're like, I've been doing what you want me to do. Like, yeah, what's going on out there? Yeah, so he's kind of sniffing the treats and... all right, honestly, if you guys are fine with it, I may try to just call it here. So I could just, is there anything else that you guys are just sort of establishing that you guys are the alphas, so that if you say, like, don't chew on this instead, they'll sort of recognize, like, okay, he sees that I'm chewing on something and gave me something else to chew on, maybe I'll chew on this. And then like you said, it is a bit of time, but just sort of building up that,
because I just don't want to be like, okay, he's chewing on a chair. All right, well, give him this to chew on, just like he's rewarded. I don't know if I'm messing him up.
Very like almost exact. Like the last thing you did was correct. No is going to be a bit more of a general like, just sort of like, okay, something's not right here. So
that's the kind of dog, and I know it's going to cost a couple of hours for training, but I'm going to invest in some money so he can at least be.
Yeah.
Good dog,
Yeah, that's something I can actually, I'll actually look into that a bit for you guys and just see if there is anything like resources. Just any suggestions I could give you guys at all for that. Oh, you were telling him to leave? That's not a good thing necessarily, because you don't want him to think like, I say leave it, you leave it for 2 minutes. Yeah, exactly. You want him to be like, I say leave it so that you can get away and I can either pick it up or we can like leave that area and you don't.
When I do that, I should just train him with, like you said, a sock or something that's not really valuable, but something I can use.
Something that is a bit of a higher reward. So whether it's just putting like a couple treats on the ground or another toy or something like that. Just as long as they don't get that toy, within like 5 minutes of you telling them to leave it.
Gotcha. Okay. I appreciate it, Kyle.
Yeah, of course.
All right, you have a good one.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, I think I move this a little there. I think you guys do.
All right, enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, take care. See you, Zeus.
That's Zeus. Come on, Zeus.
Trying to do that. It'll be fun. And we'll pass the time together. Good. Don't move. Ricky's got you. Everybody on hold. Ricky will get you.
You leaving school? You happy?
Sounds like a lot of fun. We're going to run down position.
First day of
by
school's
position.
over.
Great job producing today. Tom Kelly earlier on the updates. Joe Altamont.
Keep it going. And he knows that, so that's good. We didn't start it. He'll know it. Yeah, we let him to do it. Watch. I'm like, look, man. Just give me a couple lessons, man. Here's $200. Give me something. Give me. And then I'll follow later.
94 WIP.
Yeah, we can get something to eat.
Still in my collection. I have
And then start tonight.
Matter of fact, I'm going to use it right
That's
here
like a
live.
pizza. I'm like, no fucking
This is a 94 WIP.
chips and shit.
Cindy Webster
I'm gonna do that, and that'd be it.
official
Because it ain't no fucking. Yeah, it's a sickness for everybody.
See folks from.
Do it twice a day.
Oh, you're right from the next
Not
town
twice a
over.
day, but twice a
Or,
week.
you know, you get to
Up until
meet
his once a
people
week.
from
You know what I mean?
Canada.
So we
Their team's
reinforce
just
it
a few miles
that we
down the
actually
road
do
from
that
your
same
team.
type of trade. Like I'll get it one day, you'll get it one
And
day.
to watch
You trade with him,
everyone these
yeah.
last
All right, now I'm
couple
gonna do it. And then I'll get it. Right, get it. Whatever. Whenever day you want to
None
pick
of
him,
us
and I'll
has
pick a day and I'll do
ever
it.
gone through any of
And then
this.
we'll go do it again with him in college. So he's like, okay, you doing that 3 days a week. Plus he's exercising. Plus he working out. So he's doing shit.
Still down there that are listening on the of eligible players not voting. The NFL players have voted to ratify the new collective bargaining agreement. The agreement will last through 2030. Biggest changes is to the regular season, which expands to 17 games. Additionally, the rosters will expand to 55 players. There'll be larger pensions for former players. Practice squad.
Devices on your network with protection from things like phishing, malware, and risky sites.
This is it.
And it all starts on the nation's largest gig speed network. Call to learn more about Comcast Business Solutions or get started with internet for only
With my weather. You know what I mean?
Fast,
So I'm gonna start wearing nothing but leather jackets when it's time. Yeah, grandma. You got grandma in there.
And I know for a fact that some of the players from the Dominican Republic would, you know, there's political unrest there. You know, everything is Venezuela. You have political unrest there, and you don't know how those particular.
Our podcast and all the latest Philadelphia sports stories, go to 94WIP.com.
2020 Sports on Sports Radio 94 WIP.
See,
Philadelphia 3
just quiet.
Ultimately, I talked to a lot of people from both of those teams, and they were biased.
Good boy.